So we're going to go into our next section, implementation of Bluetooth RTLS at Baylor Scott and White Health. And so I'm honored to introduce my peers here. Jeff Richard, first off, was the Director of Operations at Baylor Scott and White Heart Hospital. His previous role was my brother in informatics as the Director of Clinical Informatics at Baylor Scott and White Health, the heart hospitals. He transitioned into that role in October of 2018. Dr. Susan Moats, esteemed mentor and peer of mine, is the Vice President of Patient Services and the Chief Nursing Officer for both Baylor Scott and White Medical Center Plano and our Baylor Scott and White Heart Hospitals, both in Plano and Denton. She's a registered nurse with an MBA in healthcare management and recently received her Doctor of Nursing Practice degree from TCU. And Nikki Best, I have the pleasure of meeting today, is the Director of Professional Services at Baylor Scott and White Health, Heart Hospitals, Plano and Denton. In addition to her leadership responsibility over a multitude of operational services for the heart hospitals, Nikki also oversees multiple capital projects for the heart hospitals, most notably the $100 million North Tower expansion on the Heart Hospital Plano campus that opened in June of 2018. Nikki?
And in line with that, we do not have any conflict of interest with anything. This is for educational purpose only, and really just kind of an open discussion or kind of lessons learned, if you will, in our experience with the implementation of RTLS and the all-important nurse call system at Plano. And a couple of the objectives we just want to highlight today is the vision for technology in nursing, which Dr. Moats will cover. Traditional RTLS compared to Bluetooth RTLS, which Nikki will discuss. And then I will cover efficiency gains with BLE, Bluetooth to improve the patient experience, and connecting current to future state. So with that, I will turn it over to Dr. Moats.
Okay. Jeff was so nervous about today, he didn't get the dress code from Nikki and I about being wearing black and white. So. Well, I just wanted to say, vision for technology and nursing. Hearing our previous speakers, about process and I'm a CPIC nurse, but I really was involved in the STEMI process back in Ohio. The first order of time, and everybody's like, "Are you kidding me?" We work in an urban hospital where we're lucky to get an EKG out of our ED in an hour, let alone we got to get it within 10 minutes. In Akron, Ohio, at 3 o'clock in the morning, when you can have 3 foot of snow, we're going to activate our teams. We're going to have them come here, and they're going to be here in what, 30 minutes? How's that going to happen? So I really appreciated those previous discussions about process, because it was through that, and it was really through me standing there going, I don't think we can do this. I don't know. I mean, this is really going to take a village. But once we were able to pull everything apart, develop processes, and use communication tools, you find that you're able to move the needle. And I remember those first order bloom times, 147 minutes, 123 minutes. You probably remember how long they were. And now, the national average is 55 minutes across the nation. 55 minutes, think about that, folks. That's amazing, and that's being done with technology. So when you think about where we are today, you think about, and I love the fact that, we have this equipment on here, but the one thing that I read in Modern Healthcare is how dependent we still are as a healthcare organization on fax machines. How many of you in healthcare areas have a fax machine that you're reliant on to get information from, right? Are we the only ones in the room? Right, fax. 80% of physicians still rely on fax machines, faxing technology. So we talk about discrete data and elements and coming together, and we're hindered by some really old technology. So, all of these things up here as far as technology goes and measuring data and outcomes, we know how important it is to help us to achieve the goal, and we've had some great experiences in doing that. So it's really important that we look at where we're going and how we effectively use the technology. I think, as our previous speaker spoke about, making sure that we're really measuring and we're really analyzing and looking at outcomes. And we're not just, trialing a phone from our SpectraLink folks, we're not just trialing a phone to make a phone call, right? I'm not sure that's innovation. That's just using a product. So really think as we develop and we think about all the things, our responsibility from a cost perspective is also important as well. So leveraging technology for the number one thing, and that is for great patient outcomes and patient experiences. So that in a nutshell is a vision, and I'm very fortunate and have one of my mentors in the audience there that has always inspired me since I've come to Baylor Scott and White, and I feel very fortunate to always keep thinking, keep challenging myself. Don't be that person way back in the late 1990s, dating myself, that says we can't do that. Think about how we can use technology so we can do that and do it better. So now I'm going to introduce Nikki.
So one of my responsibilities at the Heart Hospital is managing our new construction projects. About 3 years ago, our CEO came to me and said he wanted to build a 6-story tower attached to our existing building, and he wanted it to have some really cool technology. So really cool is great, but we're taking Susan's lead. All of our new technology needs to be something that gets our nurses back to the bedside, gets our caregivers back to where they need to be, and that's next to their patients. And it builds efficiencies, and it overall builds a new patient experience. And so we went down the road of how we would do that. And one of the things we really wanted to target was that god-awful whiteboard that's inside every patient room that we have to fill out, and we hope is filled out every time a new patient comes in. But we really wanted to take it digital. And so we worked with Roland, and we worked with some other systems to make that happen through nurse call. And then we really wanted to tackle the tracking application. We wanted to enhance the patient experience. As so much as anyone that's been to Disney, we really wanted to target the Disney experience. And that's kind of where we came up with RTLS. Now, RTLS is not a new technology, it's an age-old system. But it can do so many things. And one of the things that we wanted to tackle is how far can we take this? And what's our limitations in taking it? Because RTLS is great, it pays for itself as soon as you have a new piece of equipment that doesn't go out with the laundry, it doesn't walk out the front door. So why doesn't everybody have it? Well, it's expensive, and it's really hard to put in an existing structure. New construction is easy, you can wire whatever, you can do whatever you want, but putting RTLS or any system into an existing building is tough. And one of the reasons we decided to choose Bluetooth technology is because it's cheap and it's easy. It's easy to put into your existing building. It's the cheapest option available, and it's really the best option for you to go full bore with your RTLS technology. You've got your asset tracking, your staff tracking, your patient tracking. Everything's available, and it's an open platform that can integrate to your nurse call system. It talks to your EHR, and opens up so many doors from a technology standpoint. It enhances the patient experience. You can look at throughput. You can look at the steps that your nurses walk every day, see what you can do from an efficiency standpoint to redesign your unit or change things in your unit. It just opens up so many possibilities. And when we were considering what RTLS solution to go with, we did have the ability to go with a new structure with your traditional RTLS, the wired function. Different vendors offer different solutions. And the primary reason we ended up choosing Bluetooth was because you can do room specificity. So you can get really down and detailed into where you're locating someone or something. And it's cheap, and I can bring it into my existing hospital, and it'd be an easy implementation, easy transition. So with that, I'll let Jeff take it from here.
I always appreciate how easy Nikki makes things sound. And she would all I was thinking was RFP in my mind. And somehow I managed to get pulled into the opportunity, or have the opportunity, to evaluate all of the RTLS vendors for Baylor Scott and White Health, because the Heart Hospital got pulled into that evaluation, looking at it as a system, trying to come up with a system standard, and pare down our vendors and our solutions from about 5 or 6 different RTLS vendors. So, all in good fun and good faith, right? We all want to get to a standard platform, which is easier said than done. So, looking at timeline, challenged by my regional director, my vice president at the time, to really look at emerging technologies to do something different, or at least entertain it, look at it, evaluate it, to see if it was something that was feasible and made sense. Within, I'm sure all of the other systems outside of Baylor have tons of money, put in capital projects, and, all kinds of time to do these things. But the tower was really an opportunity to leverage that opportunity, to look at proof of concept or a pilot project, as we like to call them. And through evaluation, through support from leadership, that's what we did. And of course, we built in our contingency to have the opportunity or have the availability to back out if any time we needed to, if the technology didn't suit our needs or if it failed for any reason. So the tower opened on June of 2018, June 18th of 2018, and we're still fine tuning it. We've been working on it since the day we opened, in conjunction with our collaborative partner, with Roland and RTLS and Forward Thinking. Lone Star is our partner in that space, and they have been extremely supportive. So this is kind of a non-traditional presentation, right? I know we only have 30 minutes, and I can talk 30 minutes just about the different types of tags, right? And for those of you that know me, probably get bored of hearing about this space. But anyway, so anyway, we opened the tower June 18th, 2018. Really, I would love to say that we had a perfect implementation. I would love to say that the nurse call was perfect and the RTLS was perfect the day we opened. But that's just not the reality, right? So in the world we live in now, and for those of you that may have heard, Baylor Scott & White, North Texas is transitioning to Epic. So there's lots of focus, lots of resources in that area. But we need collaborative partners to be able to develop this technology and get to the point that where I believe we need to go. And that's leveraging technology and innovation to support our clinicians and improve patient experience. Just a little, I don't know if you guys can see that, but just a few of the efficiency gains that we've had in a very short time that we've been up and running. Working with Lone Star and some of the others to optimize the system, we're now down to about 3 to 5 seconds canceling the call light as the staff member, whether it's a nurse, PCT, or otherwise, walks into the room. The nurse, upon entering the room, will cancel the light, and it will also status the caregiver into the room, giving a corridor outside the room visual representation of who's actually in the room. A couple of things that does is allows the clinician to directly make eye contact with the patient, as opposed to feeling for the head wall or looking for a cancellation or some way to stop the ringing in the room. They can go in and immediately address the patient's needs, if they need pain, eyes, water, whatever the case may be. The floor plan you see there on the slide is that's actually our 3 North nursing unit in the tower. That's an overview, visual representation of where people are, where assets are. The nurse manager on this floor actually prefers this view. This is a view that she looks at when she wants to, at a glance, see where staff members are. There's also a list view that the unit secretaries use to see where staff members are and look who's bedded or who's assigned to the different rooms within the nurse call system. The top screenshot there, I apologize for the size of that, but you'll see that there are 7 metrics that are measured there, and the timing of those up in the, I guess that's close to the top right-hand corner. You can see that the efficiency of answering call lights within the threshold, which is 5 minutes, is about 77%. So hang on to that number. In the next slide or 2, we'll get to the significance. So anyway, just hang on to that 77% overall efficiency for calls answered within the threshold time, if you will just humor me for a few minutes. And then identifying opportunities for improvement. Nikki mentioned that. That's something that actually the report you see at the top is one of our nurse manager's safe reports that she runs every day and covers during tier 1 nursing unit huddle. Not so much holding the staff accountable to the metric, but trying to identify opportunities within their workflow, within their day. If they may have a particular patient that's heavy on the call like that, they're spending tons of time in that room. She can see on a daily basis, just a snapshot, how much time the staff, the RN or the caregiver for that patient spent in that room for that day, for that shift. Look at it for a day, by shift, for a week, so on and so forth. But again, this is not a perfect tool straight out of the box. This is development. And there's lots of collaboration, lots of ongoing evaluation of how the system is functioning with the caregivers day to day. This is a huddle board item that they discuss every morning and every evening when they do shift change, just giving us feedback to let us know where there may be an issue, where we can identify opportunities for improvement, or maybe to tweak the system to help them through their day, through their shift. Well, Susan, I did it too. Okay, that's fine. So this may look familiar if you've been out in the vendor area. You may have seen something that looks similar to this. This is actually the whiteboard. This is Nikki's vision and Susan's vision of replacing that nasty whiteboard with all the handwriting. And I can assure you, you don't want me writing anything on that with my handwriting and so on and so forth. So this is the whiteboard that is in every single room in our 3 North patient tower. 28 beds. You can see there that there is room for, in the bottom right-hand corner, non-nursing staff and people that are not necessarily part of the patient's direct care team, speech, PT, OT, respiratory therapy, who have access to the system, can log in, put their name there, their phone extension, things like that, and then across the top, the date, the time, so on and so forth. And then you see the plan of care. Those are the goals for the day. Nursing can go in there, respiratory, others can go in there and type in the patient's goals for the day. The patient can visualize those and see those clearly without worries of handwriting. And then down the right-hand side is actually the care team. The top box is charge nurse, then RN, PCT, and the provider. So we're currently in the process of gathering additional photos and populating the database for the heart hospital. So when the staff member is assigned, their picture will actually display on there. So when the caregiver walks into the room, hopefully the patient, or the idea is that the patient will correlate them and recognize their face from the whiteboard, correlate that to a member of their care team. Same with the physician, and all of those 4 will status the light outside of the room. So at a visual look down the hallway, I can see what rooms have providers, what room has PCT, nurses, etc. Oh, one more thing. Sorry, Bob. Forgot about you. The recent visit column over on the right, over on the left-hand side, that timestamps each different type of caregiver in and out of the room. So if the patient's wondering when the last time my nurse came in, when was the last time, or I haven't been seen by a physician all day, or whatever the case may be, there's a visual column over there that timestamps each different type of caregiver in and out of the room. Well, not out, but in to the room. So remember the 77%? Yes? Okay. So the little bitty upper left-hand corner, that is a report, similar report that we ran out of our current nurse call system in our existing building. Just really, quite honestly, I was looking for parameters to work with the one-star team to build thresholds in our new system. And we established that 5 minutes, et cetera, et cetera. But the more I've looked at this, 100% is a great score. 100% response time is a great score. And I was like, well, we are either horrible on 3 North and everybody else in the existing building is just fantastic. fantastic. What's the problem on 3 North? The more I looked at it, the response time, or the average response to cancel the light is like 11 seconds, which means that the unit secretaries are canceling the lights from the console at the desk, and there's not actually anyone going into the room. So 100% is relatively simple, I would think, especially when you look at thresholds under 5 minutes or within 5 minutes. So going back to that 77%, within the first 90 days of opening on 3 North, 77 was pretty darn good, but there's certainly room for improvement. So as we continue to work with Lone Star and as a collaborative partner to continue to fine-tune that system, I think the opportunity, the trust in the data will continue to grow. Confidence in the data will continue to grow and really allow us to do true process improvement with the clinicians on that unit. And then if Nikki can find some money, we'll expand that technology to existing. Just a couple of other devices that we have implemented within the 3 North is the staff terminal that many of you may be familiar with. Not a lot of integration there right now. It's mostly manual processes that we're supporting on the nursing unit specifically, but as we get to closer to our EPIC implementation, our hope is to do true integration and interoperability with the staff terminal and make that an additional point of discrete data capture, which I believe is the direction we should be going. I think our days of expecting nurses and other clinicians to walk directly into the room and log into the computer without addressing the patient, or having to log into a PC or traditional workstation should be, I think, in the past. Quite honestly, I think there's opportunity with mobility and interoperability to create multiple points of discrete data entry and capture that then are validated 2 to 3 times a shift by clinicians, and kind of break that shackle from the PC at the bedside, and get our clinicians, our nurses, and others back to the bedside and really interfacing and interacting with the patients, for which many of them came into the healthcare field to do. I remember what I was going to say about it. So what I was going to make a comment on, 30-minute presentation, the fact that we did 30 minutes of anything between me and Susan, let alone Nikki, is a small miracle. But the more I thought about this, and I was invited to speak about it, this is not my baby. This is not an informatics baby. This is everybody's baby, and it takes the vision of a CNO or nursing leader, or clinical leader, or someone in a position of power to have that vision. And then operational leader, for Nikki to share that vision as an operational, non-clinical leader within the organization. But to get it, if you will, many times as clinicians we say, they just don't get it. They don't get what we do. Well, Nikki does it. So I think that is just a critical piece of success of any implementation, let alone something that is outside the box of what we traditionally do. So with that, I will be done. Any questions? Oh, we have 5 minutes. That's a record.
This is great work. I can't wait to get over to the tower to see it, and I'm jealous. First question. So for those of us who've been in this whirlwind of nurse call, we purchased these systems because we want to know better about what's going on with our patients and our staff. And as you know, they come with a plethora of tools and solutions in order to do that. And in my experience, when it comes to those specific tools, kind of the data analytic tools around it, I've observed a significant low utilization of those tools throughout, not just the implementation, but even after the system has been in place for a while. And it's been a theory of mine that it has a direct correlation to some of the RTLS connectivity issues that we have with our setups and the reliability around the data. So when our users don't feel like the data is reliable, we see a marked decrease in the utilization of those tools. And so as you all have highlighted, the fact that there's a higher reliability with the Bluetooth solution, have you seen a direct correlation in the utilization of your data analytics tools as a result of that, particularly by your leaders?
I'm just going to say I was holding the mic up here, but I truly had a drop the mic moment in a huddle one morning when my manager of 3 North, I asked her, hey, how's everything going? How's the call system working? And she looked at me and she said, well, 77% of the time we're answering calls within 3 minutes and 23 seconds, working on the other 23% to meet that metric. Holy cow. So, I think, again, and Jeff said it, but I just can't emphasize enough, nurse call is like, a lot of people think of it as the bell and the little string, right? They're not thinking it. Jeff said it, and Donna Montgomery and Brandy, they're like, Susan, this is middleware. This is where it's all going. It's connectivity. And I start thinking about it. So you mean that maybe someday that IV pump won't be ringing in the room, it could be ringing on my phone? And so, make sure that the right people have this technology and are buying it and have it in their hands. And Nikki, as an operator and sort of growing up in our hospital, she understands interoperability and how people work together. So it wasn't, is there any biomed folks in the room? Can I harass you? Okay, no biomed folks, free game. All right, so, it's not a biomed thing. It's not a little bell and a string. It's much more than that. So you have to have the vision, and you have to have the people around you on the team that can implement that.
Thank you for the honor. Just one other comment on that. In addition to a visionary nursing executive and an operational visionary, nursing buy-in, nursing leadership at that unit level has been absolutely critical. The feedback that Jessica Benner has given us is invaluable, and willing to work with the team, with Lone Star, to develop and fine-tune. But she's getting the vision as well. She knows the goal, and she knows what feedback we need. It is huge. But I actually had a conversation with her the other day about what you're referring to. And the nurses on the floor want to know why the unit secretary can't cancel the call item from the console. That's where we were. This is where we're going. So I think the collaborative team and every nook and cranny, leadership, everyone getting the vision, supporting that vision, delivering the same message, a united message of we need to get to here, and trust me, it will be worth it when we get there. I think that's what we have to continue to find those leaders that get the innovation to heart.
Thank you.